Welcome, everyone, to the BP Harmony podcast. With me today is Sarah Jane D. Neumann. We connected on LinkedIn and I checked out her website. I was inspired by the work she does. I appreciated the vulnerability where she shares her struggles in life, in school, some of the challenges that she's faced with dyslexia and how she's overcome those challenges. She shares her experiences being successful, working in a supermarket, and she's also shared her stories about certain traumatic experiences. So right off the bat, I knew this was someone that I wanted to have on the show. She's a very vibrant colors on her website, which is reflective of her vibrant personality, and then also um, the very kind of vulnerable approach that she's done. She's shared on her website, and I want to read a segment from her website where she talks about how she got into this world of transformational life coaching and using various tools. But today, what we'll be talking about is focusing on transformational life coaching using art therapy. And Sarah Jane is an art therapy coach in the UK. And I always like um, talking to professionals around the world because the approach to health is quite different, and we have much to gain here in America, especially when it comes to healthcare. So, Sarah writes in her website that healing through art has been an essential part of my journey. It's helped me process my thoughts and emotions, bringing healing from within. I'm excited to continue this path and to help others find their own inner healing through art and coaching. And so, with that, welcome, Sarah, to the podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Imran, and thank you for welcoming me on uh, your podcast. It's a privilege.
All right.
Yeah, my name's Sarah Jane. I'm from London, England. I'm certificate level 4 transformational life coach, and I I specialize in my art therapy as well. Um, my journey
Yeah, tell me,
started. My journey,
tell us
yeah,
about
I'll talk about.
yourself. So, tell us about yourself, a bit of what you have written on your website, maybe what's not on your website, and how all of life's ups and downs and surprises led you into art therapy.
Yeah, well, it all started at the beginning at school.
Okay.
Um, School was honestly, it was very much a struggle and a dark place for me at that time, going through primary, middle school, and then eventually onto high school. I was hoping when I got into high school, that the bullying wouldn't carry on. Um, and it did. And I went into a mixed school, girls and boys, high school. Um, Went into there thinking, yeah, things are going to change. No, it still carried on. So it went into an all-girls school, which I stayed into that school. I had bullying in there. That bullying was because of people would say that I was working slow, dumb, these kind of words at the time, and even dyslexia. But at that time, there wasn't a big awareness
Yeah,
around dyslexia or ADHD, bipolar, or any of these health
right,
issues.
right. Yeah,
It's not that long ago. It was like literally 5, 10 years ago, let's say. It wasn't, for me, in my experience anyway, it wasn't very well aware. So I went through that period, felt very isolated, lonely, in these situations. Also, I had someone beside me in the classroom that used to help me, just be a helper, do my homework and things like that.
Yeah.
But that just made me stick out like a sore thumb to
Yeah.
people and
Yeah.
saw that again that I was very different to other people
Right.
in that school environment
Yeah.
for me.
Has that changed today? Because what I hear in the US is because autism is on the rise and a lot of schools do not have the awareness and the infrastructure in place to help create an environment that optimizes their learning style. They're often labeled as misfits, as troublemakers, and of course, then that snowballs into all sorts of other issues that lead on into adulthood. So, kudos to you for weathering that storm and then for turning that experience into advocacy for people that, kids especially that are going through that experience, and then adults who
Yeah.
may be recovering from that
Yeah. And then
trauma.
I kind of went through that period of schooling, and I came out of that schooling period, and I went into college, and that was actually a great period for me coming out of school into college. There were a lot more people that are more open-minded, more like me. Like I felt like I
Mm.
fit in. I finally felt like I fit in with people, and my classmates, my peers. So that was a really good moment for me. Then I went on to the supermarket, which my goal from the start, which my dad actually helped me with, actually, fun enough, he found me the job for me, bless him. So from him finding my job, my dad, and then I went from a colleague to a team leader to running the store
Oh,
to a
wow.
store manager. And that for me was very uplifting and inspiring for me that I could do anything, put my mind through it, even though I'm going through all these things of dyslexia, and then I was going through anxiety, panic attacks, sorry, stress, all these problems like that I was going through.
Can I
I was
ask
resilient and I got through it. And my goal
yeah,
from the start, I wanted to be a manager, and I achieved it.
yeah, I'm curious. Can you talk a little bit about what is dyslexia and what is the experience like for you? Because I talk about bipolar disorder a lot, but
Yeah,
bipolar often has many comorbidities, and dyslexia is one of them.
sure. I can only speak of my own experience, really,
Yeah.
because I think all dyslexia people are different levels. So my experience is from schooling period that I could say, I realized something was different with me because I didn't like reading.
Okay.
I didn't like reading at all. I didn't like reading. I didn't like writing as well, and maths wasn't the best either for me. Them areas weren't my strong point. I was more a creative soul, you could say, more creative and with my hands. I love drawing. I love making, even baking. I like doing anything with
Oh,
my
yeah. Okay.
hands.
Cool.
Yeah, these kind of things as well. I enjoy.
My sister is a big baker, so
Yeah, I love sweets, sweet tooth.
are you a fan of the Great British Baking Show? It's really big
Yeah,
here in
I've
the.
watched it a few times. Yeah, it's great, great
Okay.
program. Yeah,
It's a big
yeah.
deal. It's a big deal here in America.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's a great program. Um, yeah, so dyslexia for me, uh, them elements as well that I knew, it was a negative for me. That's why I didn't like school as well. I seen reading and writing. they were a negative, and I didn't want to be at school. So I didn't want to be there. I often quite left school because of it was a negative environment. There was nothing for me that felt positive, really. If
Hmm.
the students wasn't there and it was just the teachers and the school, it would have been a lot different if you put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
that's the initial feeling how I knew. Then I grew up from school, college, and everything. And I started as well a little bit going from coming out of Sainsbury's, and I thought, you know what, I'm actually gonna, for my own benefit, I'm gonna buy someone to help me with my English and maths. Go student. They were very, very good, very, very good, really helpful. I have one-to-one tuition that helps me. And through that, I realized some of the teachers that helped me through that, they said, which I didn't even know about this, with dyslexia people, they see better
hmm.
with color. And they said, have you ever read a book in color? And I said, yeah, I have. I absolutely love comics. I love children's books because they're so colorful. They're so vibrant. And I feel so much more attracted to them than a plain black and white book. That's the way it comes across to me. And I can't read it properly.
Hmm.
So, and now I incorporate more color wherever I can into my life, um, day to day on an email or reading something, I would highlight it specifically so I can read it properly and I can see it.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that's how I know it from my personal
Yeah.
experience is through
Okay.
reading and writing.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
And
I
we
always
see
do these
things,
tangential questions.
yeah, and we see
But
things differently as well. I think we see, as I said, colors. We're more creative.
yeah,
We're more creative, hands-on jobs would do.
right.
I wouldn't, I've tried it. I wouldn't fit in an office environment,
Yeah.
but
So
I
I guess,
fit perfectly supermarket or working with a person one to one, face to face, or on Zoom like this. I really thrive in these
okay.
kind of situations.
So then it seems art has been a part for of your own journey. It's something that became a part
Yes,
of your
it
own
it was.
educational.
It's ever
It was an
since
ed
school. I was always people used to always saw my art and there was like really loved it and even yeah baking what I was saying there was a
yeah.
little moment I remember in my middle
I
school.
considered baking an art form.
Yeah, even in my middle school there was like a really special moment that I always remember, like that I was baking scones and um everybody was like seeing who did the best scones
Yeah.
in the middle primary school they call it now.
So how did you
And
use art as a form of therapy for yourself?
yeah, and I won that contest anyway. I just wanted to
Yeah.
tell you that. So
Oh, uh,
yeah,
oh, with the scones contest.
yeah. There was like a little who could do the best scones.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I done well on that, and I won the scones. So it's like a little proud moment. Um, yeah, that
Brilliant.
I can still do things, at that time.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant. So yeah, I mean it
little
seems
things like
I guess
that.
the I guess my mind jumped into, well, it seems like art and baking and working with your hands played a part in how you coped through the challenges in life.
Yes. It wasn't necessarily that I knew as well. It took me a long time to get here where I am right now to
Hmm.
find that, find that inside me. I've been searching for something and I didn't realize what exactly it was, but I knew there was a calling
Hmm.
all along to do something. that helping
Nice.
people. It was always helping people and art.
I think this is a good segue to our next question, which is, tell me a bit about your approach to
Yeah, sure.
art therapy and the training that you've gotten in art therapy coaching.
Yeah, well, it combines with creativity and mindfulness, supportive way to individual to express their emotions through mindfulness art making, allowing them to focus specifically on that piece of art, and the process as well through it. It would reduce anxiety, panic attacks, stress, depression, sleeping problems as well.
Hmm.
These these kind of areas and mindfulness. There's a few extra bits that I do, like CBT as well. I
Oh,
integrate that with that, like mindfulness-based art, CBT.
okay.
Again, that's just integrating mindfulness, being present
Hmm.
in the moment, allowing them to express their emotions through that art in that present moment.
So if I were to sign up for a session with you, walk me through if let's, just run through a situation. Perhaps I say, uh, Sarah Jane, I really like what you're talking about. I would like to incorporate art as a form of therapy for me for some of the challenges that I face in life. What would that session look like?
Well, what it would look like from the beginning, it depends if it's like a single session,
Yeah.
I do a 12-week course.
Okay.
That each week, you'd book in with me a session, one per week, if you may. And for instance, the first session would be doing just an introduction and would be doing a mandala.
Okay. What's a mandala?
Mandala is it's a circle. I can actually show you. I've got like different examples actually
Yeah.
of different clients doing different styles. There's some children ones, some adult ones. So this one's a mandala, so I can show you more in detail what I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
Mandala is actually from India
Uh-huh.
originally, and it's a form of meditation. So
Hmm.
before we do the mandala, usually do a 5-minute meditation.
Yeah.
Going through that meditation, we'll check in our body, any pains, any discomfort, any
Hmm.
feelings that we cannot express
Hmm.
in words, and we translate and put them onto paper. And then them colors, it's I usually say it's all totally down to you. It's a very individual. This one's another one, child's
Oh, is
one.
that by a kid? I
Yeah,
can
child.
tell.
Yeah, like yeah, young child's. It's in my workshops that I do in the library.
Fascinating. That's so
Different one. That
fascinating
was an
that you'll
adult
pair it
one.
with
Yeah.
That's fascinating that you'll pair it with questions like, what are
Yeah,
you feeling in
I
your
keep them
body?
all like sometimes they say that they want me to keep them, so I keep them as a little I like to look back at different art, yeah.
Wow.
And so the different colors will express different things. For instance, if the client can't know what exactly color that they would like to use, generally I would say a lighter color like orange, yellow, pink kind of colors, are more positive
Mm.
colors. And then the darker colors are more negative colors, anxiety, pain, depression, or feelings that you can't express through words.
Mm. Yeah, I think
That's
if I
where that's
were,
where it basically through that meditation, you're having that mindfulness meditation, you're relaxing, and then you're feeling them
mm,
feelings that you go through your body. There'll be things that
mm,
pick up, and then you translate that feeling onto paper with a color. And I would say not even if you don't want to use that particular color that I'm talking about, it's free flow, what you feel in that
mm.
moment.
Yeah, I think if you were to ask me a color, I would pick gray because
Interesting,
it's the
yeah.
month of Ramadan right now. We're fasting, so my energy is a bit lower. I
Lower.
like to consider it like battery saver mode, is like I have to conserve my energy. And because it affects my mood, it's like,
Yes.
yeah, I can feel a bit of static, a bit of yeah, now that I'm going through the process myself, it's like, oh yeah, I'm checking in inside and there's a lower energy, which is always affects things like concentration and
Yes.
so
Yes.
oh
Yes.
this is
Yes.
so
There's ones
beneficial.
like, see, I've even done them myself. I've done, you see, I can, that one, I can explain even my one if you
Yeah,
like.
this is so
So
beneficial.
yeah, so the outside is green because I find nature is protecting me always.
Mm,
Hard to explain because again, I always put them words down that words don't, you can't express in
yeah,
words,
yeah.
but
Oh, at BP
nature is
Harmony,
always protecting me.
I talk about spirituality
Yeah,
openly. So sorry to cut you off, but yeah, don't feel like saying something like nature protects me is would be something that's not
no.
something we do at BP Harmony. It's
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm out in nature, I feel like nature's literally protecting me. It's always there for me whenever I have a problem, mental health or physically or pain or anything. It's an aura, it's a protection aura.
Mm,
That's what I say. And then there's my heart, there's love, strong love, passion. And that day was particularly cold, so I did it quite bluey grey kind of colour. And there was a barrier. This is what I was saying to you about barrier. This barrier, again, it's not quite a word to that, but I felt like there was a barrier between that area and in the inside and the cold. And then the center is always strong. It
mm,
shines bright.
mm. Beautiful, beautiful.
That's how we
I might sign up
express.
for one of your sessions. This
Yeah.
your point
More than
about,
welcome.
yeah, what your point about nature is well received at BP Harmony. I say for people struggling with mental health, it's go out in the sun, put your bare
Yeah.
feet onto the ground, listen to streams of water. And the reason my logo, the person's the in my logo, the I made the colors of the person the same as the tree is because I believe one of the mistakes we make in the modern world is that we say we separate ourselves from nature. I say no, we don't go into nature. We are nature, and the
Yeah.
reason we feel off is because the default situation, kind of in the modern world, is a separation from
Well, yeah.
what we're not a part of it. We are nature. So
I totally 100% wholehearted agree with that.
yeah,
Through all the things that I've been through, nature's always been through like with me and healed me
mm,
eventually for me. Yeah.
beautiful. Well, you've talked a little bit about how different tools you use.
Yes.
And my perception of art therapy is maybe it's limited. I think art therapy, okay, paints and colors and
Yeah.
color pencils, maybe.
Hmm.
But from what I saw on your website and from some of the preliminary conversations we've had, is it seems that you're integrating art therapy with other tools like meditation, which you've mentioned, and
Yes.
singing bowls. So, I'm working on my own integrative health coaching certification. And I really think integrative health is the way to go, especially here in the States where, it's very separated, the health departments,
Mm.
but you have this up and coming department called integrative medicine. And that's where
Hmm.
I've had the most success working with physicians who refer to me clients who say, yeah, I need these people on blood pressure medication and diabetes medication. I just don't have the time to guide them on the lifestyle changes because these physicians say, like, yes, you can reverse diabetes with nutrition. You can reverse things like blood pressure issues with diet and mindfulness. And even myself, when I received the diagnosis of bipolar disorder and I was told that, yeah, you can get better, but you have to be on medication for the rest of your life, I just did not resonate with that. And I was fortunate to find people who are taking whatever tools they have. You and
Yeah.
I are coaches, you have physicians, you have exercise, and they're integrating all of these different modalities so long as they
Yeah.
are clinically backed. um, Today I'm off of medication completely. I'm living a full life again. So I was really excited to see that you use that integrative approach as well, even in art therapy coaching.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
how do you go about integrating what may seem disparate?
Yeah, integrating, I use meditation. I kind of briefly use spoke to you about that. I would initially at the start of my one-to-one session, um, would it be by Zoom or Skype? I'd be using, I'll start off with that. And I can actually specifically help them, for instance, have client with anxiety and panic attack. So I would use visualization
Mm,
within that meditation to visualize, trying to picture this for you, visualize a door and a gateway to a place where paradise, let's say, it could be paradise, it could be the seaside, it could be a meadow, somewhere tranquil, and you'd be sitting there and relaxing and hear the waves and the sun and the taste and the feeling as you visualize it in your mind. You would
mm,
relax and fall away. This
mm,
kind of thing I use. Also body scan through the
mm,
body. I've got also rooting, like grounding, rooting, like with my feet,
mm-hmm,
grounding right into the soil. Again, it's all like
mm,
kind of visualization techniques. There are some clients that don't like closing their eyes. That's totally acceptable. I'm
mm-hmm,
okay with that. They can still go along with it
mm,
with their eyes open or just like lower them a little bit.
mm.
Yeah, that's the meditation part of it that I do, and I do also in my workshops as well. In a group of, it depends what setting, but it could be from 6 to 15 people in a group. Meditation, then mandala or body scan, and then also we got the singing bowl as well, which I start off with a little. And I've even just got it here. It's a little one
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah,
got
I'd
it
be
with me.
I'd be cool.
I've actually got it with me here, so you can have a little look.
Sure.
It's just a little from Nepal.
Ah, yes, my
Yeah,
yoga instructor where I did my yoga teacher training would use that, and I would
yeah,
find
just a
that
little.
a lot of the cacophony. Oh, I
Can
don't
you
think
hear
I
it?
can hear it. Try it
Oh,
again.
You can't hear it?
Try it again. Maybe your microphone isn't picking it up.
Maybe.
No, I think it's like the
No.
microphone is like very
Oh, it's not
focused
picking
on
it up.
your
Okay.
uh
Yeah.
but
Well,
I think you can
I
also
do
do
little.
the thing where you roll
Yeah, I
you,
literally can. That's a shame. I would wanting to like literally. I'm doing it now. I can I can send it over. It's
yeah,
literally I'm
yeah.
doing it now. I
Yeah,
wish you
wow,
could
the
hear it.
microphone's not picking it up. Interesting. But that's
Yeah, I
okay.
think it might
That's
be there's
okay.
must be a setting or something that must be
I'll
on
put a
Zoom.
link. I'll put a link in the YouTube description about videos of singing bowls or sound bowls. But those are beautiful in my own experience when there's just a cacophony in my mind, thoughts after thought, and I'm having a hard time quieting the mind. I have found those bowls to be powerful ways of drowning out and emptying the mind.
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
it totally um kind of emptying your mind, get you back in the present moment. Singing bowl, hearing the vibration of the singing bowl calms the body and the nervous system as well, supports relaxation as well, an emotional release as
yeah,
well with the art therapy. So it gets you set and ready for into the in the right mindset and ready for yeah on the art therapy session.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
How, I can ask this for myself and then maybe other coaches who are listening to this. Do you have a set curriculum? Like, okay, for every person, I'm going to do painting, mandala, singing bowl, or do you have um, a kind of a personalized approach? Um,
I have got a 12-week course. I
okay.
would have that 12-week course, but it's not the great thing about what I do is that I'm flexible, totally flexible. I have clients that turn up and I'm sorry, Sarah, I haven't got my mandala. It's usually I've got a little template, so you don't have to be artistic at all. It's just a little template that people have, or you
Yeah.
can make your own one
Yeah.
well. I actually join in and do it with the client as well, so I can empathize with them and I join in with them into the session, so I understand what their the feelings, the situation. Um, yeah, it really does help all these things.
Amazing. Amazing. So
I
it
also
looks like the
use
12 week,
holistic as well.
yeah, the 12-week course, you have like a set curriculum, and then with the
Yeah,
individual clients.
it's a set thing, but it's flexible. So I've got love and kindness,
Yeah.
one for love and kindness, one I do a watercolor landscape as well. But it's not always like strictly, oh, got to do one, two, three, four, five to 12. No, it's flexible. So if the client is not able to do something that session, I can flexible to what they want specifically.
Right.
In that moment, they might not be feeling to do something and might not be open to even meditation, for instance. Sometimes a client's usually able to do meditation, but sometimes they can't because they're not relaxed enough.
Right.
So I
Brilliant.
can be flexible on the approach.
Brilliant. I like it. I've always struggled with that because it takes time to really understand what the person needs and then
Yeah.
customizing their coaching plan.
Yeah, I mean, we're human after all, right? So each week, each day, each minute, we're feeling different. So that's why I thought it's better to keep it flexible and open.
Yeah. All right. Well, you and I were preaching to the choir. We get it. We've been through it. We've probably, I went through the pharmaceutical approach with medications. I went through all sorts of things. And so I'm all for this stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But what would you say to someone who says all of what we're talking about, art therapy, mandalas, uh, is just a bunch of quackery?
Yeah, I I get that because I've had people that say it's just art. It's more than just art. It's a many things art therapy. It's not just art. It's about creating beautiful, it's not just about creating beautiful pictures. It's about therapeutic process. It's to help individuals address their mental health and well-being, challenging them kind of areas. It's much more
Hmm.
than just art. And um, art, it's more than that. There's so also when words can't express
Yeah.
in words, we use it through that way.
Hmm. I think
When
that's so
words are not
true.
enough, we express it through our emotions.
The artist that I had on the podcast earlier this year, or maybe it was last year, she said the same thing, that a lot of what she is feeling and a lot of what she is trying to express, she is unable to with words, both spoken and written, but somehow she's able to do that through her painting. And once she does that, she feels immense relief, immense catharsis. And I think that I always say to people, give it a try. What's it gonna, is it gonna hurt you by trying?
Yeah.
And it's it more and more though. What I'm seeing here in the States is more and more clinical research is coming out about art therapy. People are doing their PhDs on art therapy, and it's a professional licensure here in the United States to become an art therapist.
Mm.
So certainly it's what I've seen. It's applied in prisons. It's applied in schools. It's
Yes.
applied in places like psychiatric wards where people are in. They've checked themselves into um, what is it called? Uh, Not
Mental health,
therapy.
like mental
Uh,
health.
they go into oh, the word is slipping me, but where people go for a temporary period of time and
Oh, rehab.
rehab. Yes, that's
Rehab.
the
Yeah,
word.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, they go into rehab, and art therapy is a big part of their recovery, and more things like yoga and breath work and sound is being used. I feel particularly motivated to advocate the fact that yoga has now clinically been established as an effective way of alleviating symptoms of clinical depression. And it is in some cases as efficacious, if not more efficacious,
Yeah.
than antidepressants.
Hmm.
So I commend you in the work that you're doing. uh, I think that people who have gone through it, who have experienced it for themselves, who have felt small, who have felt lonely, who have been looking for people to help them along the way, it is somewhat of a duty upon us, but we're the ones who are going to do it most passionately because
Yeah.
we needed it ourselves. And so I think it'll take time, it'll take advocacy for this to become less fringe and more at the center of patient care. And so I commend you for just putting yourself out there in the way that you have, sharing your journey, and then of course taking it very seriously with the certifications that you've done.
Thank you. Yeah. It's definitely a proud moment for me through my journey, what I've been able to do to achieve, and now just to go full circle, and now I'm helping people that are in similar situations to myself. So I'm reflecting on them, and I'm a
Yeah.
figure to someone to look up to for them as well, in schools, in libraries, in community centres, these kind of places. And now I'm podcast on your podcast as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What when you on your website when you talk about transformational life coaching, can you parse out the word transformational and what you mean by that?
Yeah, sure. Transformational is what I can explain is, for instance, at the moment, I'm helping, it could be any profession, female or male, and the adult, or it could be a child. They have a specific, let's say, mental health. It could be anxiety, depression, sleeping problem, or even a personal life goal they may have, a professional adult, in person, personal goal, or at work goal. And going through my 90-day, 12-week course from start to end, you will see a transformation of healing, and you will be, by the end of that 12-week, you will not have these, so much of these panic attacks,
Mm,
stress. You'll have areas that can help you, techniques
mm,
that I give to you each week, and slowly, slowly, you'll see it's not a quick fix. A lot of people
yeah,
think that that's quite a myth as well. They think, oh, I have one um, therapy or coaching or art
right.
therapy, counseling. I'll have one and it will disappear. No, it's an
Mm,
ongoing process, ongoing through all your life. But this 12-week is put you on the right set, and you'll be free of these
mm,
specific items to key to open that door and see that light.
yeah. 12 weeks,
Freedom.
3 months. Yeah, I mean that's plenty. That is if one stays committed to
If
it.
one can say committed to me, otherwise I can also do a 4-week course or singular courses. However, the client is, but I do recommend the 12-week, because that will specifically, if you're really keen and wanting to commit with this, and then that will
Yeah,
help you and
yeah.
heal.
Yeah, I appreciate everything that you've shared. I myself, with dealing with the diagnosis of bipolar disorder, and I was diagnosed with bipolar 1, and all praise and thanks to the one above that doctors have said I no longer have this diagnosis. But art did play a big part in my healing. It maybe wasn't painting, but it was
Mm,
actually poetry. I did not have a penchant for poetry at all before my mental illness, but for some reason, I just started reading poetry. I started listening to poetry. I started weeping when I would, like, not weeping, but like shedding tears, because I felt in touch with that frequency or that side of life when I was going through such intense suffering.
yes.
And I even started composing my own poetry. So while I
Wow.
may not have the lived experience of going to art as a form of catharsis, I can
Yeah.
certainly agree that art is that part of human expression that goes beyond words.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, totally. Art is many forms. It's not just art. As you said, poetry is beautiful. I love listening to poetry. It's very, very, yeah,
Mm.
poetic.
Well, before we conclude, I always like to give my guests the opportunity to share anything that may be burning inside that my questions didn't cover. Any final thoughts, any message out there for someone who may be struggling?
Okay. I mean, I think I didn't mention too much, a little bit more about holistic, like I use holistic approach as well.
Okay.
Combining, talk a little bit more about that. I could combining mindfulness, meditation, art therapy, um, and in a safe place for
Mm,
healing the person.
okay.
So it's a great place for the client to express themselves. So they can do it either said on Zoom, if they wanted to do it face to face as well, or in a workshop
Hmm.
environment as well, which I do in my local area as well.
Right.
In the libraries, community halls, these kind of places. Yeah.
Amazing. Um, are there anything else before we conclude that you would like to express to the audience?
Mm, I can mention it maybe a little bit as well. Other techniques that I use, meditation for children and adults, are
Mm,
one for anyone that's feeling at the moment something they can't express, some sort of, it could be a feeling, it could not be a feeling, but this could help.
mm,
A little technique I call butterfly,
mm,
and you just tap like this,
mm-hmm,
and we do a few in um deep breaths. You go like,
mm,
and then you feel at that moment it helps you with the your panic attack, or if you feel lonely, or you feel sad, or there's some specific feeling that words are not enough and you
mm-hmm.
can't express it, you can use this kind of technique.
Yeah.
So that's one for you out there if you're needing help.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. I really benefited from this conversation, Sarah. This I love the pace by which you answer the questions, how thoughtful your answers are as well. And I hope that, in the future we have another conversation like this.
Yeah, I loved every minute of it. It's my first podcast, and it's going to be one of many. I definitely be keeping in touch with yourself, and we'll be definitely doing some more
Yeah,
together.
now that you've
Yeah.
invested in that fancy microphone, you got to put it to
Yeah.
use, right?
Yeah.
It's appropriate. It's got all these colors too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true actually.
Nice.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Bye.